What is up everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are checking out the Dutch bike lanes save lives. Wow, I mean that is an interesting title, so let's get right into it guys. See what we have here today. I mean how does this actually save lives? Let's get it, see what we get. And yeah guys, if you're new to the channel, here we do reactions around the Netherlands and yeah, some other things here and there like USA stuff, military, and you know, just different cultures around different countries. So if you're into that guys, stay tuned to the channel and let's get right onto it, see what we got here today. Let's get it.
Do you know of any nations where the Prime Minister arrives to work on a bicycle? Everyone rides a bicycle in this country, from a 3-year-old to a 93-year-old. Yes, we're referring to the Netherlands.
From a 93-year-old, bro. That is crazy.
Country with the most cyclists, but the safest. How did their cycling infrastructure get so good? Welcome back to our channel. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do subscribe. If you like this video, please press the thumbs up button and also click the bell icon. Today in this video, we will discuss how the Dutch bike lane saves lives.
All right,
so
the Dutch bike lane. So how does this actually save lives?
Life is riding a two-wheeler across this amazingly pancake flat, picturesque landscapes that last every dike, canal, river, and coastline shore. Biking through the Netherlands studying a countryside is one of the most remarkable ways to appreciate it. After all, the renownedly flat nation has 35,000 kilometers of bicycle lanes, or feet spanning, which are extremely popular with tourists and residents. Therefore, if you need fresh air, consider getting on your bike and exploring some of the nation's most stunning landscapes. Anyone who has...
Like, bro, I mean, in the Netherlands, they, like, nearly the whole city is literally covered with bike lanes, so... like, if anyone wants to travel from A to B, they can easily just grab their bike and get going, you know? So it's kind of cool.
Ever trying to make their way through the center of Amsterdam
so it is pretty safe.
Knows it. The city is owned by cyclists. They hurry in swarms through the streets unbothered by traffic rules, taking precedence whenever they want, rendering motorists powerless by their sheer numbers. The Dutch started this fixation on moving away from a car-centric approach and towards safer and more livable cities in the 1970s. Most of us, including some Dutch residents, think that the excellent cycling infrastructure, which includes a vast network of interconnected cycle lanes, has always been.
Just look how many people, bro, in the streets. It's just insane, bro. Like, literally, even like women here, the second woman there has her child in a sort of basket. So, yeah, I mean... everyone uses bikes, I believe, bro.
Though cycling in the Netherlands gained popularity a little later than in the United States and Britain, which saw cycling booms in the 1880s, the Dutch were already constructing roads specifically for cyclists by the 1890s. Before World War II, there were cycling lanes in the country cities, but they were far more constrained, uneven, and disjointed. There was a time in the 1950s and 1960s when bicycles faced a severe threat of being driven out of Dutch cities due to the rising number of cars overcrowding the roads. Things were about to change in 1971. The Stop the Kindermoord protest campaign was started by Margie van Putten, Stop the Child Murder. The success of this initiative, combined with other events like the 1973-74 oil shortages and the release of the Crowd-designed Manual for Bicycle Traffic, led to a change in government policy. The bicycle was essential to make streets safer and towns and cities more habitable. The country has started to restrict the use of motor vehicles in urban areas and shift its focus on expansion towards other modes of transportation. In Amsterdam, bicycles are the preferred method of transportation.
Like, just look at this street here. Like, all I can see is bicycles, bro. I can't even see one single car. So just imagine how much of the population actually use bicycles in the city instead of cars. It's pretty amazing.
And significant effort has been made to accommodate them. The city has a sophisticated network of cycle paths and lanes that are so safe and comfortable that even young children and the elderly choose to go by bicycle. Of course, there are cycle paths throughout all Dutch cities. Amsterdam is just one of them. There's a continuous network of bike lanes that are well lit, well maintained, and signed, with cycle path intersections that frequently give cyclists the right of way. Let's now explore how the Dutch infrastructure differs from other nations in making the experience safe for cyclists. Numerous roads have one or two separate cycleways or clearly defined cycle lanes next to them. Cycling on the main roadway is prohibited on streets with nearby bike lanes or cycle tracks, which must be used. A total of 35,000 kilometers of cycle tracks, or roughly 25% of the country's 140,000 kilometers
That's
of roads,
crazy, man.
have been separated from
Honestly.
vehicle traffic. Bicycles and motor cars can coexist on some streets and other roads, but they're typically low-speed roads. These bike lanes, excellent surface quality, and generally
Like, just look here. A street, like, I'd say out of the city. It seems like it's a bit outside the city. And still, there's, like, bicycle tracks. So that's pretty amazing, bro.
direct. Mal twists allow for cycling at good speeds over long distances. Pedal bikes may or may not be permitted through tunnels and over bridges. If so, there's typically a separate facility. For instance, pedestrians,
Even
bikers,
under
and
bridges,
motorcycle
bro.
riders
It's
cannot
insane.
enter the Western Shell Tunnel. They must either take the bus through the tunnel or board the ship at a different point. Unlike the majority of bus services in the Netherlands, 3 services that cross this tunnel carry bicycles and mopeds. There's a fee for the service and a reservation is recommended. Larger highways are equipped with parallel bike lanes that are physically separated from the road, such as by a verge, hedge, or parking lane, when there is adequate room for them. These bike lanes are typically isolated from a nearby walkway. When protected bike lanes are present, riders generally are required to use them. Mopeds and similar vehicles are permitted and must be used when their top speed is 25 kilometers per hour and they have a blue license plate.
Wow, bro.
Mopeds are only allowed to utilize the cycle pathways when the maximum speed is 45 kilometers per hour, yellow license plate, mainly outside the built-up area. On bike paths, vehicles are not permitted, and to enforce this rule, barriers are frequently used to prevent cars from entering physically. A single-direction bike route is typically too narrow for automobiles to pass on. Bi-directional bike lanes on one side of the street are typical in cities and rural areas. They're separated into 2 lanes, much like highways by a dashed line. The number of times cyclists must cross the road
Just imagine even here, like, nice, beautiful view in the nature, riding your bicycle down the, like, the beautiful view, have trees all over you, the sun just shining through the trees. That is a pretty cool experience, I would say, man.
is decreased when there are bi-directional cycle paths on both sides of the road. Although the color of a bike lane or path's pavement might vary, red is the color that's typically used to designate them in the Netherlands. Red asphalt or brickwork visibly separates cycle routes from car lanes and footpaths. Some older cycling pathways are constructed of square tiles often used for sidewalks, and standard black asphalt is also frequently used. There are 2 types of cycle lanes in the Netherlands, even though the law only mentions one. If the cycle lane is marked with a dashed or broken line that divides it from the main roadway, it signifies that drivers may utilize the cycle lanes in an emergency. This permits them
Okay.
to pass other road users or to carefully drive in the cycling lanes to escape oncoming traffic, for example. Motorists may only drive in the cycle lanes when it's safe to do so without endangering people cycling.
Wow.
Space drivers may also cross the cycle lanes with broken lines to get to parking. On some streets, even when there's very little room for parking, car traffic is allowed to utilize the central rest area, even when the cycling lanes are at the recommended width. That is made feasible because motor vehicles are permitted to go on cycle lanes with broken lines. When the cycle lane is separated from the motor travel lanes by a continuous solid line, driving on the cycleway with a motor vehicle is prohibited. Only cycle lanes marked with bicycle symbols are considered cycle lanes legally. In the built-up area, the symbols must be spaced out by 50 to
1,
100
2,
meters
3.
and 500 to 750 meters outside the built-up area. Additionally, they must be
Alright.
repeated after each side street. However, the Dutch guidelines are merely suggestions. Road management is always free to choose a different cycle lane width. When a sidewalk is present, pedestrians use it. Otherwise, they use the same part of the road as cyclists, on the cycleway or lane if one is there. Otherwise, on the road, but in the latter case, pedestrians preferably walk on the left while cyclists go on the right. Roads and tunnels that are open to cycling are also open to pedestrians.
No way,
Have
bro.
you heard-
Bro, these things are just insane.
about
Like,
Fitzgerald?
come on, bro.
Fitzgerald, which
Come
means
on,
cycle
man.
street, is a road where cars and other motorized
Fitzgerald.
vehicles are only permitted as guests. And
Okay.
bicycles are regarded as the major and preferred mode of transportation.
And you see here, like, the road here is actually red, which is actually supposed to be for bicycles only. But as you see, we have cars here as well. So, pretty interesting the way they actually made this work out.
Fitzgerald comes in 4 different varieties, but they're all obliged to have a speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour or less and are typically painted in the same red asphalt as bike routes.
Yep.
Most Fitzgerald streets are found in residential neighborhoods where there are already roads with less traffic. A Fitzgerald was once a route with little traffic that was easily changed most of the time. They're a crucial piece of infrastructure that makes cycling safer in Dutch towns and cities. In order to avoid congested highways and provide bicycles with straight routes into and through towns, they can also be used for route separation. Another interesting fact about the Dutch is that they don't usually wear helmets. The Netherlands
We've seen other videos about the helmets and the safety issues with cycling in the Netherlands.
has the lowest rate of cycling-related fatalities and injuries worldwide, despite nearly minimal helmet use and high bicycle usage. The Dutch believe they don't require bicycle helmets because they have established a safe cycling environment, and that cycling is not intrinsically dangerous. The Dutch way of bike lane
just
design
imagine,
has
bro.
contributed to reducing accidents.
I do know that helmets are only worn to people who actually ride bicycle as a sport and not just for like visiting a shop or like in general in town sort of cycling. It's mainly for the people that actually do it as a sport, you know?
Vehicles traveling at different speeds frequently collide on cycle paths, especially in Amsterdam, where lanes are frequently limited due to the city's architecture. Since motorized scooters were prohibited from using bike lanes in the city 3 years ago, the number of traffic incidents involving cyclists has decreased in Amsterdam more quickly than everywhere else.
Wow.
Isn't it amazing to see how well-built Dutch cities are? Do you think it's good? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video.
Wow, so yeah, my personal opinion on this, I mean, it's really, really nice that they actually did this sort of thing for the country, since everyone does use bicycles nowadays. So the government even helped the people even more, providing more routes for bicycles, you know, so it's a good thing. And riding a bicycle, I mean, it's safe, it's good for your health, you know, you exercise. I mean, overall, I totally agree, bro. Let me know your thoughts as well, guys, in the comments below. And yeah, we'll be seeing you on the next video. Like, subscribe, and peace out, guys.